Hey, what's going on, everybody? Pokemon Masterclass Podcast Episode 6. I'm Justin.
And Brandon, Zero, Schmucker.
How you guys doing out there today? We're going to be talking about some fun stuff today. We've got a lot to talk about in the news.
Like we say we were going to talk about fun stuff every week, but Pokemon is fun stuff.
Pokemon's always fun.
It's
Pokemon's
fun
always
stuff.
fun stuff.
So,
what's on the docket today, Brandon? What's first up? How you been, first of all? Should start with that.
So real life stuff. I have a big surgery coming up.
Couple days.
Yeah, I'm gonna be in the hospital for a few days, so I am gonna be trying to pump out some content beforehand.
You've got a couple of set guides. And
Yep.
Maybe a battle vid or two.
Yep.
And then we'll just schedule them out throughout that week. So it'll be like on the channel. It'll be like you never left.
Yeah, you won't even know. But yeah. And then in preparation of my surgery, I've played a lot of disc golf. I won't be able to play after for a while.
Yeah, they just gave you that news, didn't they?
Yeah. So I played so much disc golf that my knee hurts.
Getting old, are you?
Yeah, no, it's a good problem.
Couple of gray hairs, maybe.
Yeah, I'm wearing a knee band right now. I played disc golf for like 5 days, set a couple of personal records in those days, so I'm playing hot and hoping I can keep that up. I actually did make my first disc golf video, put that on my normal channel, my personal channel.
When you were up in Ludington, and you had a really good day that day.
Yeah.
You and your partner both, but especially you, because
16
you're the
down.
one that I know.
Yeah. 16 down in one course.
That was pretty. I'm a noob when it comes to disc golf, and so he had to explain to me, what a birdie and all that was. But I understood the concept. I knew how to play. I just didn't get all the names.
Our hands were on. These fingers were just on fire, man.
Yeah, I saw that video and I was like, wow, that was. I was like, oh, bank.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, there's another one. Oh. So I was like, so this is pretty good, right? He's like, yeah, dude, that's really good.
Yeah. So that video is like the unofficial launch or whatever you want to consider it for my personal channel. I will link.
That was your debut.
Yeah, I'll link the vid in the description if you're interested in that. Justin, what have you been up to?
A lot of VGC. Still working. I'm still having a lot of fun experimenting. I still have not tried one of every legendary.
Yeah, we're getting there though.
Well, I've tried one of every legendary on Showdown, but now I'm working on transferring a lot of those teams to cartridge. Like right now, what I've been working on these past couple days was the Zamazenta team and the Ho-Oh team, which once we get fine-tuned, they're fine-tuned enough to put on cart, and then we gotta do maybe a couple battle vids and see how those go, and if they're if the footage is good enough, and if we can get some good streaks, and and any more tweaks to the team, and then maybe we put out those rental codes in April. We're still not sure yet.
Yeah, we'll see, because we would have to sub things out of our other rental codes, so we'll see. Either way, we'll
see how it goes.
You'll probably see video of it.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna have some battle videos of these new teams that we're trying out. We have a Rayquaza team.
Yeah.
We've got a Solgaleo 2.0. Lots of fun stuff. What else?
You mean other than that, you just work, right?
Yeah, lots. I work in a restaurant, so we're kind of understaffed because we're reopening, and
Michigan's up to 50% restaurant capacity.
Yeah, and we had basically full stocked, front of the house, back of the house. We had a full restaurant in terms of employees going into the holiday season, and then this recent lockdown, we lost a whole bunch of people again.
Yeah.
So now we're trying, and now we're understaffed, and I work a lot.
Yeah,
that's the short version.
I feel like anyone listening to this who works in the restaurant business is probably like, yeah.
Tip your servers.
Yeah, tip your servers.
If they're not worth tipping, then call a manager over.
Yep.
That's the only two options. Not tipping is not an excuse.
He's right. So, all right, you want to move on to the big stuff?
Yeah. What do we got, buddy?
All right, news time. Okay, so the first bit of news that we got is Smogon is running this really cool Grand Slam kind of format tournament, and they are going to be running a tournament for 3 different formats: UU, RU, and NU.
Super excited.
Yeah, UU
12 out of 10. I'm so happy.
At the time of this video coming out, UU registration is closed. I think they've already been kind of bracketed up and everything. Registration for the RU Open and the NU Open closes, I think, at noon
I believe
on March
so.
28th.
Yep.
So if you guys are interested in that, if you guys are interested in that, that could be a really fun format. I was actually really interested in the UU Open. However, there is a different piece of news that we're going to get to later that took me away from playing that because I do feel like I have a really solid UU team that I'm hoping to use one more time before tier shifts come in, because I think I'm going to lose my Caillou Rem to the OU tier. If you guys are interested in singles competitions, go check that out. Go to their Facebook or to their main page, and you'll find the forums and you'll find the links. I think that could be really fun. If you're interested in the singles tournament, hop in there and play.
I agree.
So next
NU's the one I'm excited about.
Yeah. I
personally,
I have a hard time at NU. Like I understand NU well enough.
Yeah. I just love. There's so many of my personal favorites. Like, I mean, all-time favorites. Like, this is like top 5 favorite Pokemon of all time kind of thing, and 3 or 4 of them are on the team that I can run. So like, I'm in heaven.
Yep. And it's like, I would do it, but it's like, I find NU kind of hard right now, which is weird.
Yeah, it's a different to what we're used to in NU from like 6 months ago.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. You know, it's funny. It's
really
like,
big deal between even if we go back more than that, like the difference between like NU pre-armor and then NU post-armor. Remember last summer?
Yeah,
that was a big difference. But then I think Crown was a even more dramatic shift.
Yeah, dude. Even go back even farther. Think about NU in like 6th and 7th gen. You have to use like Letty in and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, and now it's like you see some of the NU Pokemon, you're like, how
is this NU?
Like Duraludon, you're just like, Duraludon is NU. Like, like there's this like,
it's just smoking fools in OU just like 6 months ago.
Yeah, like when you think about NU, you're like, oh, NU is bad Pokemon. Like, well, historically they were bad Pokemon, but now it's just like literally just a placement. It's like you can run Duraludon in OU.
Absolutely, 100%.
Anyway, moving on to the next thing we have. We have bans and suspect tests. So the first ban that we are going to talk about is Zydog. Zydog did get banned out of RU.
We talked about whether he would or wouldn't.
Yep.
It's official now. It is
gone. Official. They even mentioned here not all the votes are in, but the remaining votes could not change the outcome because at that point they had already had an 80% majority that Zygarde.
So it's too late. It's regardless.
Yep. So the combination of extreme speed and stay hydrated, ladies and gentlemen. The combination of banded extreme speed and 1,000 arrows was pretty oppressive. Like, I came across that in the RU video that I did, and I had to play around that Zydog really hard to win the game.
You did a really great job.
But
But that's because you're a master. I would expect nothing less.
That's true, man. That's what we do here on this channel. We take people to school.
I was just about to say, take that kid to school, man. He tried to flex, not today.
So, kind of not surprised. 1,000 arrows.
I'm not surprised one bit.
1,000 arrows is the most spammable move in the game.
Yeah, it's so free.
It doesn't get easier than 1,000 arrows. Yep. So, Zydog is moving up to UU.
Because that not only does it hit flying types, it also hits Levitate, correct?
Yes. Yeah. And it brings them to the ground. So, like, if Charizard comes in, you take him down and he takes neutral damage, but then the next turn he takes super effective.
Then next turn he'll take super.
Yep. So then, if you're choiced or whatever,
but Rotom, you just slam him for super right away.
Yeah. So,
that's a big one.
It is.
That's a big one. Yeah, being able to hit Rotoms for super.
Yep. So it is slightly oppressive in kind of easy mode. I think Zygarde has his obvious flaws, like the 4 times weakness to ice. So Ice Shard.
He's not perfect, but he's just so strong and impressive, like Brandon said, because also the extreme speed. The strongest priority move in the game.
Yep.
And being able to put that with his, what's his base, 115 attack? 110?
Something like that, yeah.
Anyways, it's really nice base attack, and the fact that it's priority choice band, it really oppressively cleans up late game.
Yep. I think he will see usage in UU. I just think that in RU he was just very top shelf.
Yeah.
And
UU, he's going to be more maybe middle-ish kind of tier, whereas like he was S tier in RU. I think that's kind of where you're going with that.
Yep. Okay, so moving on to the next one.
What do we got, buddy?
Cresselia.
This is a good one.
Yeah, Cresselia has been banned.
Yep. I like that she's banned personally, I don't mean to cut you off, but I'm just going to go right there. Cress is one of those, like, thorn in my side pokes.
Yeah.
I have just recently started to use her on a couple VGC teams. She's really good.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not... It's just one of the... You obviously are, you know, the psychic trainer.
Yep.
You've used Cresselia ever since 4th gen. I've always had to break down this, just... get this stupid duck out of my way.
I would hold the Flame Orb.
Yep.
And have rest, and I would run Sleep Talk and Psycho Shift. So you're either getting Psycho Shifted a burn or a sleep.
That's old school tech, man. It's been a long time since I remember that set.
Yeah, so that's not what got her banned out of
No.
specifically.
That's an ancient history
lesson. But at this point, she's just too bulky, especially when you've removed...
she's way too bulky.
When Sharpedo and Pangoro got banned,
yep.
The checks to the stored power... variants.
The Calm Mind stored power.
Yeah, they were just gone.
Yeah,
there were no checks to stored power.
She is way too strong.
Yep.
She's way too bulky. She just does everything too well for what else is in that tier. Like you said, it's relatively like low tier.
Yeah.
So there's just not as the stats aren't there to be able to break through her wall.
Yeah, especially like when she's so prevalent in doubles and she can survive getting doubled into in doubles.
That's
it's hard to break in singles.
Yep.
So. Yeah, Cress has been banned. We'll see how she does in RU. I think she might do all right.
I think she will too. I think that's going to suit her well. I'm probably going to try my my dual screens variant.
Yeah.
Just swap out a couple of the other tech moves for singles. You know, right now it's got like helping hand and stuff.
Yep.
But just swap out whatever and try a dual screen set. Might be fun.
Yeah. So to kind of clean up the bans and suspect test section of this news.
Poor bunny.
Cinderace got hit again, man.
I love that bunny. Not as much as my monkey, but...
He's banned out of National Dex. You don't play National Dex?
No.
I don't play it a lot, but I pay a lot of attention to it just in case our meta turns into National Dex. I think it's really important
especially this fall with... I guess Christmas time, holiday season for the Diamond and Pearl remakes.
Yep. If Z moves and Megas ever come back, I kind of like to keep on top
keep little tabs.
I keep tabs on what's happening in National Dex. I think it's really important. So, Cinderace has been banned in
Plus
National
it's fun.
Dex. Yeah, and it's fun. It's fun. We're just running Megas, whatever. Shadow Tag has been banned in Ubers. Unfortunate for my boy Wob.
Yeah, no more Wobbuffet doing his thing.
That really sucks. Because, now where are you supposed to use him? Battle Stadium Singles is, the only place you can use him now.
No thanks.
Yeah. And even the one time I ran into a Wobbuffet in Battle Stadium Singles. No, I had mixed attacking Moltres.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So I had Sucker Punch and Fiery Wrath. So he couldn't.
Gotcha.
He had to play the game, the counter or mirror coat game, and I won that one. So run into that stuff.
Mind games.
And then Aegislash.
Aegislash
pretty
is
big
back
news.
in UU.
Pretty big news. Aegislash is back in UU. I thought that they were not going to allow him because Victini got banned.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, Victini's not here, so who's gonna
check him?
Who's gonna check him?
But I think you bring up Incin.
Yeah, you know what I've been seeing a lot is Chandelure.
Chandelure, yep, that's a good one.
But Incin, yeah, that's an excellent point too. But the problem you gotta watch out for is Sacred Sword.
Yeah, that's true.
But
we do have the Intimidate.
Yep. So Aegislash, I'm expecting a boatload of Aegislash in UU right now.
Yeah, physical, special, mixed.
Yeah. So be prepared. If you're going to play UU, be ready for Aegislash.
You have to have a check or a straight counter on every team.
You run Rotom Heat.
Yep, Rotom Heat's a great one. But it's just every single team needs something.
Yeah, you need
an answer.
You absolutely can't run something for Aegislash. Yep. So, all right, that's going to bring us to the end of the bans.
The bans and suspects.
Okay, so we haven't talked about it in a little bit, but PC3, still going on in case you forgot about it. It's just weird that...
Yeah, we got the North American quarterfinals, right? For VGC Players Cup 3?
Yep. At the time of this recording, they might be done. And I think they're going to be moving on to finals.
Gotcha.
I think the quarterfinals started on the 20th.
Okay, gotcha.
But yeah, we haven't talked about it a lot because we didn't make it in. But TCPI doesn't really kind of broadcast them live, which is unfortunate.
It's
they do a lot
really,
of post-production.
really unfortunate.
Yeah, I would like to see them start streaming those games.
Exactly. I mean, you got to just... I mean, look at the LCS, man. Just look at the LCS numbers over the past decade. Just put your stuff online.
Yeah.
People will tune in.
I would really like to see Game Freak add a spectator option.
Oh, that would be amazing. I would love to watch your games, even if you're scrimming or if you're ranking.
But, like, that's part of why they don't broadcast them is because there's so many hoops for them to jump through to get people to be able to record their games. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Not everybody has a capture card.
Nope.
So that's an obstacle right there in itself.
Yep.
So a couple things we wanted to note that we thought were really cool about this is once that production comes out, the broadcasters, Cybertron, we like Cybertron.
Love Cybertron. Watch him daily.
Lulu the Pikachu, Osiris is going to be commentating.
He's got a lot of good videos, a lot of good teams.
Yep, and then Sierra Dawn. And then notable players as of the 20th. We obviously don't know who's left, but you got Wolfie, Joe UX9, and Moxie Boosted.
Moxie Boosted up
so
there.
I'm sure a lot of you guys probably know those names, and it's pretty cool to see that they have made it so far.
Yep.
No surprise that Wolfie is still hanging in there.
No. Expect to see him in most of the top brackets.
Yep. So that's going to bring us to the next thing.
Yeah.
Players Cup 4.
Oh, I am so excited about this.
Players
Are you excited
Cup
about this, Brandon?
4. I am. Like I mentioned earlier, I was thinking about playing the UU Open, and then this got announced.
And this will be your replacement.
And I don't have to team build for this because we built 10 teams. 10 plus teams.
10 plus teams. Check our folders on Showdown. There's about 40 different teams on there.
Yeah. So obviously, we are prepared for this for the most part.
Yep.
We have a bunch of rental teams.
Real quick, shooting off the hip. What do you think about bringing?
I'm gonna bring Calyrex Ice. I'm pretty sure.
Calyrex Ice?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I'm thinking I'm gonna bring Kyogre and Ludicolo. I love Ludicolo so much, and I really want to rep him in the tourney. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
You want those easy wins, huh?
I want to flex on fools with one of my favorites. I want the Poncho, man.
So,
no, I do think my rain team's really nice. Otherwise, the Xerneas team's been doing really well.
We should mention, obviously, that it is Series 8. We forgot to mention that.
Yeah, so it's Series 8 rules. It's going to be the weekend Friday, April 9th, Saturday, April 10th, and Sunday, April 11th. It's going to be the same standard tournament format as the other Players' Cup, so it's going to be 15 games per day max, so a 45-game weekend.
Yeah.
You do not have to complete all the games, but again, the more games you play, the higher your ranking goes. The more you win, the higher your ranking goes. Same type of thing. It's basically like an open house. So if you log in, if you got to work, in the morning on Friday, don't worry about it. You get out of work at like 4 or 5, whatever o'clock at night, then you can go on and get online and do your ranked games then.
Yeah.
Same thing, if you work at night like me, you can do your battles in the morning.
Yeah.
So there's options for everybody. You want to talk about the big notes here?
Registration ends the 8th, I believe, at noon.
Yep.
Get it done beforehand. If you need a team, we have 10 rental codes. Link in description.
Link in the description, absolutely. You can use any one of our teams. We've climbed up to Master Ball using these teams.
Yep.
And we highly recommend, if you're struggling or you just want to kind of try something fun, you can check out our videos on how to use them, and we've got everything you can need right there.
And I think every team has a video except the Mewtwo team. Like, I think we've posted a video of every team in action.
The Mewtwo team is the last one to get posted.
Yeah, okay. So, you can see them in action, see how they work.
Yep.
Cash prizes for the first time.
Yeah, that's a big one. $5,000 cash prize.
Yeah,
it's pretty fun.
That's just for first. So
for first, but that's still cool.
Yeah, because
it's really interesting.
They got 3 different formats: the trading card game, and I think they're doing Pokken, and there's a $45,000 prize pool that they are splitting amongst those games, and then obviously
throughout the tournament
into the top spots.
Yep. That's really cool, though. I'm excited about that because, like, the scene is expanding, and like we were just talking about, like, now that they're giving out cash prizes, like, that is the first foot into that door. Like you were just, you and I were just talking about being able to have sort of a pseudo LCS type thing where you can watch these tournaments.
Yeah.
I think that is one of the ways that we get into that door.
Yep.
I think that's gonna let me rephrase it this way. I think that's gonna open up a lot of doors for potential, because like even Smash, Nintendo doesn't support live like Smash coverage.
They don't host anything Super Smash Bros. Related.
No, it's when Smash tournaments are going on. Obviously, another game that we're really passionate about, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Yeah.
When Smash tournaments are going on, they have like it's all third-party streamers, like just random people that are like, all right, we're hosting such and such a cup today.
It's grassroots.
Yeah, absolutely. So even if they did that with Pokemon, like it would still work.
Yeah.
So any one of those, and start giving cash prizes, you're going to start drawing a lot more eyes. Like, hey, I'm going to take this a little more seriously.
Yeah. One thing I want to note about this Players Cup series is a lot of people are kind of like, oh, why are we doing so many Players Cups? Because a lot of people thought the first Players Cup was kind of a replacement for the World Championships because it happened in that same time window. I think because...
Yeah, it's definitely evolved into something more now.
I think that you're going to see these... I don't think these are going to stop.
Nope.
I think these are going to be very common.
I like them. I think they're fun.
I think that they are going to be the replacement for live events because we can't do live events. Mm-hmm. So I'm expecting to see a lot more Players Cups just until we can.
I'm expecting to see a lot more channels like PokeSports. Channels who are, whether they're streaming to watch or streaming to play, you're going to see a lot more channels, including ourselves, streaming on these Players Cup weekends. We're not going to be streaming Players Cup 4, but like hypothetically in a month or two or whatever, Players Cup 5 or 6 or 7 down the road, if and when we have time and schedule, he's got kids and work and whatever. That is something on our to-do list eventually, is to, get on and stream some or all of our games for a Players Cup weekend. That'd be...
Yep.
We've already talked about that behind the scenes.
Yep,
but there's other channels that are already doing that now.
Yep. I'm kind of planning on recording all, or if not all my games, and I'm just going to probably run a super cut. You'll see the funniest moments, the hypest plays, the biggest, the baddest luck that I end up getting.
We're planning on doing some, we call it streaming, but we're going to do some recording that Friday.
Yeah.
Tentatively.
Yeah, tentatively. You get 50 BP for participating. Last thing I want to note about this...
That makes you want to sign up right there.
Last thing I want to note about this tournament that I don't particularly like is that the qualifiers for this are running at the same time as the finals for PC3. I think that's very poorly planned.
Yeah.
I think it's very poorly planned. Think about a guy like Wolfie, if he's still in it. Wolfie doesn't have to prove anything to anyone.
No, he's excluded now. Anybody at that top bracket is now excluded from joining the PC4 because they had to be participating in PC3 finals.
I don't think it will happen, but I wouldn't be surprised if you see people drop out of PC3 finals to play in PC4 qualifiers because it's
a cash prize.
Yeah. You think about guys like Wolfie. Wolfie doesn't have to prove to anyone that he can win a Players Cup.
No.
We know that Wolfie's a great player, and we know that Wolfie knows how to win. Wolfie probably wants the money.
Exactly. If I was him, that's what I'd be going for.
Wolfie probably knows that he can make it through qualifiers very easily and get into this bracket and get some cash. So if you put me in that situation, I would be really upset. But I think that's kind of all I have to say about it. I think that was... I don't love that.
I don't like that either. That leaves a sour taste in my mouth.
Yeah, I don't love that. And, yeah, I think I'm kind of just going to leave it at that. So we are going to move on to the last thing before our break. All right, Justin, what have you been up to for PokeProjects?
I've been working on stuff. So it's sort of out of order just because we have the backlog and stuff of our videos. So... by the time it actually happens, and then by the time the videos come out, there's a little bit of delay. But this was just part of the rental. This is like the extension of the rental code video. In that video, we talked about the fact that these teams were 10 of our favorite or best battle-tested, battle-ready, battle-hardened teams ready to get you from Pokeball to Master Ball. And, well, today we put our money where our mouth was. And ta-da!
There you go. If you had any questions that our creations could take you to Master Ball, there you go.
Living proof.
There's the proof.
All I did was use our featured teams. That's the only teams that I used on this climb.
Yep. And we will have a link for those in description.
Link in the description.
If you want to borrow them.
The next photo here is actually my record. As soon as the very next photo, so that was obviously my standing when I got in was 4-1-8-7.
Yep.
And 20 games, 14-6. Not a pretty bad. What do you think about that?
Not bad. Not bad. It's I
felt pretty pleased.
We talked about this in the chat. It's not as amazing as my 25-4 run in singles, but it's pretty good.
It's pretty good. Still getting. I feel like now we're finally getting a decent grasp on VGC. We're obviously
in all seriousness,
singles players for most of our lives. VGC is something we just started on basically a year ago and competitively about 6 months ago.
Yeah. So really cool to see because you've been working hard at VGC, especially Series 8.
Putting a lot of time in 7 and now 8.
Almost exclusively, he's been doing a lot of double stuff. And it's really cool to see your hard work pay off.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I was really happy.
And you've been doing a little bit of climbing, right?
Yeah, so that was the highest that I got that night. Ended up doing one more game once I got up there, and ended up getting a 32.90.
Yep.
I've done some practicing and bouncing around, dropped down to like 7,000 or 8,000, and then I bounced back up. Right now I'm at 31.
Yeah.
So I'm still right around where you see right now on the screen, but I've got about 15 more games.
The quest for number 1 continues.
yeah, that's the next goal, is if we can ever get number 1.
Yeah.
But it was really fun. We ended up, I have videos. Links will be in the description for both videos. One of them will be for our featured Xerneas team.
Yep.
That's how I hit Ultra Ball. And then the next one will be for the featured Dialga team. And that's how I ended up, spoiler alert, that's how I ended up hitting Master Ball.
Yep.
So, really fun. Got to experience different teams on the climb, all our features, and it was basically checking every box that we wanted on our list.
Yeah, it's kind of cool that you made this climb while experimenting with not experimenting because
while switching it up. It wasn't just one team
because we already experimented with these on Showdown, so the experimentation part was already over. But like switching up teams,
and last month,
I'm gonna play 3 games with Kyogre. I'm gonna play 3 games with blah 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 blah. Like that was really cool. So yeah, man.
Yeah, it was fun.
Very well done.
Thank you, sir.
As for me, PokeProjects, I'll be expanding the how to use guides. Our last one was really well received, the Mewtwo one.
Yep.
So I'm going to be expanding that. I will not reveal the Pokemon that I will be doing.
Yeah, we both have. There's about 5 or 6 in my notes. You've got
I have
2 or 3 in your notes that are like really dear to your heart. I've got a couple that are dear to my heart, and then also just like competitive. I think it's gonna draw in viewers. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I'm working on a lot of singles stuff right now. It seems like I've kind of like gravitated to the singles guy during Series 8, and then you're just like all in on the Series 8 stuff. So it's kind of cool that we've like checked those boxes. Like
we've got a little bit of everything
those ways. So, so we're gonna take a quick break, and when we come back, we're gonna get to our main topic, which is a topic that I hope that you guys can take to whatever game or whatever competition is you're playing.
Yeah, it's not just Pokemon. And it's not just competitive.
Yeah,
it's everything.
Our main topic is going to be conquering the ladder. We're going to talk a little bit about the mental fortitude it takes and all of that stuff. So I'm going to be referencing disc golf a lot.
I'm going to be referencing League of Legends.
We're no strangers to competition and ladder.
High tier competition, grinding from low tier to high tier.
Yep.
And the mental fortitude it takes to just maintain a good attitude, a positive outlook, and keep climbing up and forward.
Yep. All right. So we're going to take a break, and we'll see you guys in a few minutes. All right, guys, we're back.
Welcome back.
We're excited to talk about this topic.
Got a refill of our water. Make sure you stay hydrated.
Stay hydrated, everybody. Those are the Ordocs from northern Michigan. Anyway.
Beautiful.
We're going to talk about conquering the ladder today.
And dealing with tilt.
The dreaded tilt.
What is tilt?
Tilt, you know what? That's actually a good question. Tilt is something that Justin experienced a lot. Tilt is when you're mad playing games, or
it's when your emotions compromise your mechanics.
Yeah.
Or your decision-making process.
So your mood, just overall like your mood. You know.
Yep.
tilt compromises your gameplay. It compromises your decision making, like you said, and it compromises
your overall performance.
If you're playing with friends, you compromise their good time.
You compromise the atmosphere of the team.
Exactly, and then
it's a big deal.
Then it's just not fun, and it's like we play games to have fun, right?
Yeah, exactly. And
not saying that I don't have fun playing games.
No, absolutely. And you got to think about, like, obviously we'll get into it, but I've made great strides in this area because I'm a very emotive person. Like, if I'm happy, I express it.
Yeah,
If I'm sad, I just it's just out there. I'm just Yeah. So, like, if I get crit hacked, or if poke terms, like when a tri-attack freezes my Cradily in a tournament on the one turn that I would have won the game. It might have sent me to the hospital.
Yeah, it might have tilted him so bad that he went to work early to get away from Pokemon, and then he went to the hospital.
Yeah.
We'll leave the details aside, but that's he did have a medical emergency, and we jokingly, after we made sure he was okay, we blamed it on the Porygon because he went off on that Porygon.
Yeah,
in
it wasn't actually that. Everything's fine now. But but obviously my background, being a big gamer for years, our big background together is Pokemon. But my big thing was I spent about 11 years, over a decade, playing League of Legends, both casually, both with friends, with teams, and competitively, or pseudo-competitively. I call it competitively because that's how I thought about it and approached it, but it wasn't like on an LCS team or anything.
Yeah, that's how you viewed ranked gameplay. That's how I
viewed ranked gameplay.
Yep, which is not wrong.
No,
not wrong. That's a good way to look at it.
And so, I dealt with some of the worst debauchery the internet has to offer. Yes. Anybody that's ever played League of Legends knows it's a sewage dump of human waste a lot of times in the chat when you're trying to play. So, or dealing with people and trolls, and they get tilted super easily. So, me as a young adult versus me now as this old fart that I am, like, it's completely night and day to how I deal with, like, stress or tilt during a game or negative experience. Like, just don't sweat it now comparatively. And League of Legends was a big learning curve through that. Like, that, I atone a lot of that to League because I had a goal of climbing the ladder. The highest I ever ranked was in 2017. I got up to Diamond 2.
Which is excellent.
Yeah.
I was a jungle. That's a really good ranking, especially in a team game.
Yeah. That was my jungling account, and then I was Platinum 3 or 2 for my mid.
Yeah.
So I was a jungle main and mid secondary.
Yeah. So really good work there. So Justin's no stranger to laddering. I will be
putting your feelings aside and just focusing on what you have to do.
I'll be referencing disc golf a lot, obviously,
because that's your other thing. Like, pokes is what is like the competitive thing that we share, but then we each have a couple of side hobbies.
You guys at home might think that maybe these things don't translate, but
it's the mental
fortitude.
The mentality is kind of
it's very similar.
And that's sort of the topic. The underlying topic of today's discussion is that mental state while you're gaming, because mental health is such a crucial part of our day-to-day life anyways. Taking care of yourself, taking care of your loved ones and your family, and making sure that everybody's healthy and feeling okay. Hey, how you doing today? You good? But besides that, it's how you take care of yourself. Because gaming, like you said, gaming's supposed to be fun. If you're getting stressed out and angry, it's okay to put it down. Like, I personally, for my game, what I do when I'm laddering, I give myself 3 strikes. If I'm playing, like, for instance, if I'm playing my Rayquaza team, this happened about a week ago, or a couple weeks ago. I was playing my Rayquaza team, trying to get a better feel for it. It's my favorite legendary. I'm trying to get better with it. Trying to make it work in VGC Series 8. And I was struggling, and I lost 3 games in a row, and that was my rule, 3 strikes. Doesn't mean I got to turn off the game, but it means I'm going to put that team down.
Yep. And we'll touch on that a little more, too, as we go on. So really quickly from my background, before we dive into all of the juicy details and stuff that you guys want to hear.
Absolutely.
So I've been playing disc golf for 8 or 9 years now. I started playing tournaments after my first or second year. I wasn't very good when I first started because I wasn't really willing to learn things the right way. But obviously, like, my mental attitude changed as I got a little older, and I am now half of a state championship team for Michigan. So
again, incredibly impressive accolades, and this is that's both personal skill, dedication, motivation, but also just like the league thing. That's another team environment.
Yep. I got there, and we won the me and my buddy Adam, we won the championship together. So, like I said, I'm one half of a championship team.
Yep.
Obviously, this is like something unforgettable. It's something that I wanted to accomplish for so long.
Incredibly impressive.
My last disc golf goal is to win a state championship singles.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah. So I'll be referencing that a lot. So I think without further ado, we're going to just kind of dive right into everything.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to do this in a few different points. We're going to have like a main little section. I'll give you points, and then we're going to bounce our ideas and experiences off each other. We're going to try to keep it brief and give you the good details. So the first thing, when you're going to be laddering, the first thing you need to do is set your goals. Setting goals, I think, is the very first part of
I'd
laddering.
already touched on it. Like I said, my goal or my limit, whatever, goal, limit, rules, all sort of the same. You have to go into it with a predetermined set of goals and expectations. And limits.
And when we talk about those goals and expectations, my first point is keep the expectations and the goals modest. Laddering should be done in sessions. You're probably not going to go from Pokeball 1 to Master Ball in a day. If you set your goal to...
Unless you use one of our teams.
Yeah, maybe if you use a link in description. But, maybe you say you're in beginner tier.
Yeah.
If you finish the day in Pokeball tier, maybe take that.
That's progress.
Take that. That's the progress. And that's like setting a goal. Maybe that's your goal. I want to make it out of beginner tier today. And then the next one is maybe I want to get to Pokeball 5. And then after that, it's like maybe I want to get to Great Ball 7. You know what I mean? Like the next day or a couple days from now.
The next session.
Yeah, so keep your goals modest, keep them realistic, and don't be afraid if you fall short.
Baby steps is what he's saying. Like you have to take one step. Like you can't climb to the top of the ladder by jumping. You have to go one rung at a time.
Exactly. He absolutely right. Take it in steps.
Yep.
Take the progress. When you make progress, take it and feel good about it.
Yeah, and don't feel bad that maybe my buddy's in Great Ball 7 and I'm only Pokeball 5. Well, what were you yesterday? Were you Pokeball 4 yesterday? You're Pokeball 5 today? That's progress, bro.
It's progress. You're moving up.
You got to stay on your path. Maybe your buddy had more time than you. Maybe your buddy had a better team than you. Maybe your buddy had luck of the draw and he got a couple of cool crits, or maybe he had better matchups than you. There's a lot of things that could go right or wrong. Don't be too hard on yourself in the comparison.
So really quickly, to bring that back to disc golf, part of what kept me from getting better faster was I had these really lofty goals. I watched professional content. I took in all the content. I watched all these people throwing 500 feet shots, and I couldn't get my drivers 300
I want to do
feet.
that.
Exactly, and they made it look easy.
Because
they put in the time and the effort.
They
put in
the work. They grind.
You know what I mean? Like, they weren't just born that way.
Yep.
When I watch them and they make it look easy, it's because when they're not being recorded, they're putting, they're driving, they're practicing. They're passionate about it.
Their
they put in the
backyard
work.
has a basket or two.
Mine does.
There you go.
They put in the work.
Yeah.
That's how they got so great. And I would get frustrated because I would go to a course and I would shoot and I would get my score.
And it wouldn't be the same.
Yeah, and then I would revisit that course and I would say, okay, well, I shot a +7. I need to shoot +6 or better. which obviously I'm saying this because that wasn't a great score back then, but it was like I was like I have to get better.
That's my goal for today. Last time I got +7, today is +6 or better. As long as I beat my score from last time, I'm good.
But you can only do that so much. If that's your goal every time you go to the course, it'll only take you 10 to 15 times you go to the course.
Yep.
But that's just not how it happens. It's not realistic.
Yeah, but again, then you can practice your putting, or you could practice.
If I practice, those things will take care of themselves.
Exactly. It becomes more like muscle memory.
Yes. Yep. So going there and setting a goal that was greater than my previous goal set me up for failure.
It was maybe a little unrealistic, or maybe a little bit like biting off a little more you could chew.
Exactly. So, like I said, keep the goals modest. Keep
them realistic. Keep them modest, and be like he said. Don't over reward yourself, but also don't under reward yourself. That's the key here. Like, be proud of any small steps you make. Like, again, we're both relatively fresh out the gate, brand new to competitive VGC. So, and we've already made Master Ball a plethora of times in our game group. So, like I was the last one to do it, and I was super excited. Everyone, he had already done it 2 or 3 times.
3 times, yeah.
3 times. Doug at this time had done it twice, once with his own team and once with a rented team. But the fact that I did it, it took a while because we were working on the rental code vid. So that's why I wasn't grinding as much. But when I finally did it, because it was only using our featured teams and the way, I feel so great about it because it was the first time I ever got to Master Ball in dubs. And I feel fantastic about it now because of the way that I did it, and I had to grind through it to get there.
It wasn't done in a day.
No, dude, I've been playing. I started VGC basically last June when Armor came out. Is when we started hey, so let's try some doubles ranked and blah blah blah.
Yeah, I think it was Series 4 or 5.
When we just kind of jumped in, and then we didn't really competitively until the holiday season. It was basically Christmas. Thanksgiving, Christmas time.
All right, you ready for the next one?
Yeah, absolutely.
So the next thing I want to talk about is competitive mentality. It's obviously very important. It is kind of the sub topic here. It all
it's the
kind
foundation of the conversation.
Yeah, it is. The first point that I would like to make is that laddering should be taken seriously, but not too seriously. Like we said before, Justin, he's a very emotional guy. Sometimes you lose 3 games. Obviously, you get frustrated. Sometimes people go a little crazy. Justin doesn't get too crazy, but
used to.
It can get frustrating, and yes, you should take it seriously, but not so seriously that it ruins your day, ruins your life, ruins everyone else's day when you're out there overreacting because you got crit hacked or frozen
hacks, whatever.
That freeze on the tri-attack was funny though.
And that goes back to what we said about predetermined expectations. You are playing a game that is mostly dependent around RNG. There's 1,000 different species of Pokemon that your opponent could bring. He only can bring, or she could only bring 6. So, do the math. That's a lot of possibilities.
Yeah, a lot of possibilities.
And then on top of that, all the different moves that they could learn, the items, the abilities. This is chess on the umpteenth level of steroids.
This is
like 12D chess.
Exactly.
So, don't be too hard on yourself if you predict wrong, or if you guess wrong, or if you get para hacks, or it's luck of the roll. It's luck of the dice. Another big thing that I'm a tournament Warhammer player. Warhammer Age of Sigmar is my main game. I'm a dwarf player, for anybody that is familiar. I play a lot of KO or Cities of Sigmar. My Caradron Overlords are a lot of fun, but Cities are more that toolbox style. When you go into a game of Warhammer, there's different play styles, but at the end of the day, you're playing a game like Pokemon that's largely at its core RNG, because it's a dice rolling game. So it's that same sort of mentality, and League of Legends the same sort of thing. There's 5 players on your team, 5 on the other. You have control of 1 out of 10, and that's yourself. So you have to go in it with those expectations. Like, one thing that I never did early on in League, and obviously the correct answer later on that I learned, kind of like your disc story, was I can't control my teammates. Mm-hmm. I can suggest that we go mid. I can suggest that we take Baron in 3 minutes. I can suggest that we focus on Drake. I can suggest that my teammate buys a Bloodthirster instead of Infinity Edge, etc., whatever. But I can't control anybody else on the map except for myself.
Yep. Yeah.
So if I am doing well, there are certain players, like for instance, if you're in a game and you don't know me, you're just a Randy and I'm a Randy, but you see my character and like, oh, this dude seems like he knows what he's doing, this girl seems like she knows what she's doing. That's a good play. Second time, that's a third. Okay, yeah, three, 4 good plays in a row. I'm gonna follow you.
Yeah.
There's definitely players that will just be like, I noticed that you don't even have to. It's like that simpatico, like through the screen eye contact. Like, don't worry, I got your back, bro. We rep.
Yeah.
We rep the same flag.
And almost on the flip side of that, like, we've also played a lot of Paladins together, which is kind of like a poor man's Overwatch. So if you Overwatch players kind of relate. When we would go out there and
character-based third-person shooter.
We've gone out there and we've done our job, and we've been teamed up with people who look like they have picked up a controller for the first time, and we lose the game. Yep. You know, we lose the game,
but it's not our fault.
We don't get mad about it. We'll look at our stats post-game and we say, what do we say? I did my job.
I did my job. Well, I did my job. That's such a good point to make that I want to touch on is like, in those games, so like League or Overwatch or D&D or whatever it is, when it's that class-based team system where, okay, you have a tank and cleric and mage and DPS, you have all these different sort of classes or roles. Even Warhammer, we have this. We've got damage units and tank units and blah, 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 blah. Yep. Each Warhammer's different because it's a single-player thing. There are doubles, but we'll reference the team thing, for instance, right here for a second. You are only capable of dealing with your character.
Yep.
Whoever you're shooting, or in League, wherever you're clicking. If your job is to be the tank of that team fight in League, or be the front line in Paladins or whatever, at the end of the game, if you're playing with a bunch of Randys and you're like, oh, this person fed and that person sucked and that person was off, doing whatever in where, Egypt.
Playing the blame game,
whatever. Don't worry about any of that. Look at your score.
Yep.
How did you do from the last time you played?
Yep.
If last time you played tank and you got, in League versions, you got an S-, and this time you got an S or an S+, bro, you did your job. It doesn't matter if you won or lost. You did your job. Be happy with it. Don't be frustrated if people like, hey, we should be at Baron right now. We should be at Baron. Don't spam pings. Don't, hey, F you, get to Baron. None of that stuff. Like, stay calm and just realize if they don't want to do Baron, okay, well, I can't control them. Mm. And if we lose because of it, well, it's just a game. We lose, and you're not in a tournament. You're just practicing on the ladder. Stuff happens.
Yep.
Like, that's the honest answer. Like, that is honestly the mentality you kind of have to go into it, especially playing games like, we'll bring it back around to our home base of Pokemon. When you play in the RNG, the random number generator, when everything's random. So many things in Pokemon are random. You have to go into that preset notion of, look, there's going to be times when bleep happens, when stuff happens.
Yep.
You can't control it, and sometimes you just have to chalk it up and just be like, well, you did your best, buddy.
Yep.
And there are times, and that's why we do post-game stuff, where how many times have you been like, what could I have done better?
Yep.
A, B, or C. But there are some times where, what could I have done better?
Yeah, and that kind of brings me
We made the right plays. The game wasn't for us. Hey, stuff happens.
That's kind of what brings me to the next point of this whole sub-thing is they say have a short memory.
Yeah.
If you make a bad play, you have a bad game, you have a bad break, forget about it and move on. Because we talked about
your
this.
disc hits a tree.
Exactly.
Your jungler fails to gank. Your front line doesn't put up, is running the damage build instead of the shield build.
You miss a play rough.
You miss a play rough.
2 in a row.
2 in a row. You get frozen. There's a lot of RNG that can happen that's out of your control.
It's easy to get frustrated, but focusing on that play takes you out of the play in your hands right now. When I miss a putt or if I throw a really bad shot, it hurts me to think about that shot while I'm working on my next shot. You need 100% dedication to the here and now.
Yep. And later you go back and figure out.
Exactly.
On hole 6, what could I have done better?
Yep. And that brings me to the last point of this competitive mentality is take notes, analyze what you did and didn't do well, and learn from it.
Be willing to change, be willing to adapt, and be willing to say, in the mirror, I'm wrong.
Yep. And in Pokemon terms, taking those notes also on your opponent and learning. Yeah. And it's not like your opponent specifically. It's like their Pokemon. Like, say you see Tauros for the first time. You're like, what does Tauros do? And then you get wrecked by Tauros. Well, now you know what Tauros does.
Now the Frostlass came out. Frost Breath. Okay, he crit. Anger Point. Okay, now +6 Tauros. Oh, geez, now he ruins my day.
Yeah, because now I'm acclimated to like the Justified thing. For example, I lost to it 2 games in a row. I lost to a Justified. It wasn't even Lucario. It was Justified Terrakion.
Woo! We're running him on our Ho-Oh team. I love Terrakion.
The beat-up strat, and then I lost to a beat-up Arcanine the next game, and I was like, I will never not recognize that strategy again. When I see Whimsicott, and I see a Pokemon that gets Justified,
I'm going to assume that that's the thing.
I know the thing now. Yep. So that's part of the learning process. So,
one thing I want to touch on in the learning sort of section here, there's a saying that practice makes perfect, and I disagree. Prudent practice or proper practice, take your pick. The verbiage is, whatever. It's the English language.
Yeah.
Prudent practice, proper practice makes perfect. Because you can practice throwing a disc, but if you're practicing with the wrong technique, you're never going to get better, or you're never going to get better to where you want to be or should be or think you're going to be.
Absolutely
if your physical technique is wrong.
Absolutely true. You can
with your leg and your body.
You can only take the wrong strategies and techniques so far. Yep. 100%.
Absolutely. And in League, like, if no. I'm gonna make attack speed jungle Malphite work.
A plan that can't be changed is a bad plan.
Absolutely.
If you think
every time I log in and I play Trundle, this is my build. I buy this item, then I buy Trinity Force, then I buy this, then I do this, and then this, and this is how I play Trundle. Okay, but we need you as a tank this game. Trundle can tank, but he also can be a bruiser, and he can do damage. He can kind of fill that spectrum. Mm-hmm. He's a big troll with a club.
Yep.
And he doesn't play League, but he can tank, he can bruiser, he can kind of fill like an Incineroar. He can kind of fill all 3 of those roles.
Yep.
And there's a lot of times where somebody that would play more offensive when we need defensive, or might play, you know what I mean? And it's like, bro, we needed a tank that game. Well, I don't play tank Trundle. Okay, but we said we needed a tank in Team Select, and then you locked in Trundle, so we thought you were playing tank Trundle.
Yep.
But now you have like this $5,000 crit glass cannon Infinity Edge build, and you get 2-shot in a team fight. You're supposed to be the tank.
Yep.
Sorry, preamble.
So bringing that back to Pokemon.
Learning properly.
Yep. Bringing that back to Pokemon, it's like if you think your team is so perfect that you're never going to change it, be prepared to only take it so far.
Yeah, be prepared to only go in with the proper expectations. So one of the things that we have in common, League of Legends and disc golfing, is how we learned to get to where we are and how we still learn about games that we're passionate about.
Yep.
And that is watching and trying to emulate within reason and for our own technical and mechanical skills, was watching professionals. So I watched about 7.5 seasons of LCS, every single game in North America and every single game in Europe. I've seen thousands and thousands and thousands of hours of professional League of Legends
from
all over the world.
Same thing with me for disc. I've been watching professional disc golf coverage since I started playing.
9 years?
Since I started playing.
It's just always on. So now I've been out of league for a couple years. Honestly, I dropped out of league in 2017, got back to it a little bit in 2018 in the summer just for a little bit with a couple of buddies, and then Pokemon dropped. And I haven't looked back since. But because, we've got our different game group now, and that's just what we play. We moved on. But the passion that was there was the fact that I wanted to learn more about the game. I wanted to know everything.
Yeah.
Not just my character, not just my role. I want to know what my bottom lane is supposed to do. Because if I'm a jungler, I'm roaming around the map. If I need to help bottom lane, I need to know when. I need to know where to come from. I need to know why I need to help them, how much I need to help them, because I got 3 lanes to babysit. So, watching a lot of coverage that's not just... So, like in Pokemon terms, you might like Rayquaza or Mewtwo or whoever your favorite is right now in Series 8 terms, right? I want to make this Pokemon work. Well, tough cookies is sometimes that poke might not be good in the meta. Rayquaza's not that strong.
Sometimes that Pokemon sucks.
Sometimes that poke sucks, and you might need to change tiers or change formats or change build or change support, change something. Or maybe that poke just doesn't work in that format, and maybe you need to wait until Series 9 comes around or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, you have to be able to adapt, and you have to be able to change your approach. Don't be closed-minded to advice. Maybe your buddy who, like if Brandon has beat me the past 4 or 5 times we've scrimmed, right? And then Brandon says, hey man, can I give you some friendly advice? No, I don't want to hear what you have to say because you keep kicking my butt. Don't be like that. Like, he's your buddy, he's like in your game group. As long as they're not like smug about it, if they're trying to be friendly, be willing to hear their advice. That doesn't mean you have to take their advice, but be willing to hear it out.
Yep. So we spent a lot of time on that one.
Well, I think that
that was a big one.
Learning correctly, especially early, is important.
Yeah.
Because when you that's like human nature to be like, all right, I can try to figure this puzzle out. But learning how to put the puzzle together correctly from day one will save you so much time.
Yeah. So moving on to the next one, the reality of playing competitive Pokemon. RNG is a big part of this game.
It's rough out there. That's the reality.
Be prepared to suffer through and brush off bad luck because it happens to all of us. Justin, you touched on this a little bit, and I feel like no one is a stranger to this. Some days, the cards
just not your day.
Some days it's just not your day. Like you missing 2 player offs in a row.
You're playing a TCG and you brick. Yes, to some extent it's your fault because you built the deck, but at the same time, I mean, maybe Heart of the Cards wasn't with you that day. Yeah. You can't control it. If you brick, maybe it's down to your deck design or deck format, but it might have just been a draw or a bad draw that hand or that game.
How many times have you been playing a game, the win is in your hands, and your Rock Slide doesn't connect on both Pokemon, and you lose the game because of it? So, it's going to happen to you. Be ready for it to happen to you.
It happens to everybody. That is the game. And, so if you don't like that, don't play the game. And I don't ever want to discourage somebody from not playing pokes who likes it or loves it. But if you mentally or emotionally cannot handle it properly, then the answer is just don't play the game.
Yeah.
Or don't play that format.
There are a few things, obviously, that you can do to kind of litigate things. There are strategies, like if you want to better your luck, you are tired of getting paralyzed, burned, poisoned, sleep, use Fairy Terrain.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
There's options out there for a reason. Use Safeguard. Use Fairy Terrain.
Yep.
Use Magic Bounce.
If you're tired of getting critical hit, this one's not as big of one. You're gonna get crits. Like, you got battle armor.
There are options in the game.
Yeah,
it just ignore crits. You cannot be crit here.
Yeah, so use
my buddy options. Keeps using Farfetch'd with the leak and okay, well, bring something against him.
Yeah. And the last thing, you can somewhat control the amount of BS that happens to you. And that is, for example, running Thunderbolt over Thunder. You keep missing Thunder, maybe it's time to switch to Thunderbolt.
Yep. Fire Blast or Flamethrower.
Fire Blast or Flamethrower. You know what I mean? Hydro Pump or Water or Surf or Scald. You have options.
Yep.
And it's up to you to
There are
to
times
use them.
where it's a lot of the times it's up to your decisions that you have made or are making in the game.
Yep. And then, if Surf won't KO Landorus, but Hydro Pump does,
then you just have to roll the dice.
You need to weigh how important it is to have that KO right there, just like with that Pokemon. Like that's
how crucial
that's up to you. You can do things to better your luck. They won't always work, but you do have things in your hands.
Yep. You have to set yourself up for the best possible position that you like to play the game.
Yep. Next point we want to talk about, this one's really important, I think, for a lot of people, is dealing with losing. We both already kind of touched on dealing with losing in our competitive mentality segment, but a quote that I love is learn to lose before you learn to win.
Yep.
And what that means is when you lose with dignity. Don't be toxic about it. Don't be salty about it. Maybe your opponent is an a-hole and, they're one of those guys on Showdown just talking smack. Some dude said that I had a tiny pee-pee for using Flame Orb Marvel Scale Milotic with Recover. The dude was just talking the whole time.
He's just mad.
All I said to this dude was, I think he gave me the GLHF, good luck, have fun, and then I gave him a GG at the end. That was it. I lost that game. It really hurt to lose to that guy because
he was being toxic.
He was being super toxic, and it was a really close game. I wanted to win it so badly, and I wanted to report him so badly, but I moved on.
It's not worth it.
No, that's learning to lose.
Yep.
And it sucks sometimes, but when you're able to lose a game and just brush it off, it's so much easier to just move on to the next game and just.
And I know it sucks. People out there that are like me, it's like, but how? How do you just brush? You have to learn how. You have to go into it knowing if this turns out to be a crapshoot, I'll be okay with it. I have to be okay with it because I know that that's a possibility. This could turn out to be a crappy game, and I could just be sitting here banging my head against a brick wall for 30 minutes.
Yep.
You go into it knowing that is a possibility. So going into it getting mad about it, like you're just setting yourself up for failure. You knew that was a possibility. Do as much in your power to control it.
Sometimes you gotta laugh it off.
And sometimes you just have to accept that that's just the way that it works. This game's... I had 3 or 4 in a row. Well, yeah, sometimes that's the luck of the draw.
Yeah, like say you miss Focus Blast twice in a row. Don't be that guy that goes on and like, come on, man. Like, nobody wants to talk to that guy. Everybody wants to talk to that guy. It's like, LOL, dang, that sucks. Or, you know what I mean? Like...
Or dang.
Yeah, like you know what I mean? It's
or
hard
a sad face, or man.
It's hard to tell over text, but it's like nobody wants to play with that guy who's like, if I would have hit the Focus Blast, I would have won the game. Well, it's like
no, in a friendly, like if you're trying to be critical and like just like hindsight, analytical, you want to analyze like your game. Yeah, I wonder if I would have hit Focus. Yeah, that probably would have made a difference. Oh, GG, buddy. Yeah. That's one thing, but it's all about tone and intent.
Yeah. If you are losing a whole bunch, take a break. That's a really big one. If you
switch teams.
Switch teams. Yep. Yeah. You touched on that, didn't you?
Yeah, that's a big one for me. Like after 3 games, if I lose 3 in a row, like if I'm on Smash, if I lose 3 in a row, I put it down or I switch a character.
Yeah.
If I lose 3 in a row on Pokes, I switch teams or I turn the game off and I play something else or I do something else.
Yeah.
Like I don't just sit there. If it's one of those days where you're just gonna lose and whatever, I don't want to get more tilted. I don't want to ruin my day. Whatever. So I know that I'm prone to that kind of spiral. If it keeps going, I know that that's me. So I set up those limitations, those barriers for myself because I don't want to have a bad day. Yep. If I lose 3, like, oh, that sucks. But I can brush it off. I'm like, hey, I had that bad run with Rayquaza, but you know what I did later on? An hour later, I logged on and I did 3 with Xerneas and I hit Ultra Ball.
Yep.
Won 3 games in a row. So I just had to take a break. I ate some lunch. I got some water. Stay hydrated. And I switched teams, and look at that. I had a great day, and now it still sucks that I didn't get footage of my Rayquaza team, but I got Ultra Ball and then subsequently Master Ball. So Rayquaza who kind of, do you know what I mean? Like I don't even remember those. Like I do, but that's because I'm an analytical person and I want to learn, and that's my favorite poke. I want to make him good, yada yada yada. But I just you got to be willing to, and that's one of the reasons why we have so many teams, is so that way we can just be like
just kind of bounce
plug and play. But
other,
not feeling A right now. Let's try some D. Let's try some E or F.
Yep. And another phrase before we kind of move on to the next part is, this is a phrase that I love, and it kind of pertains to like golf and disc golf. Even the best in the world lose more than they win.
Yep.
What does that mean?
You got to grind.
Well, when you think about a lot of the top golfers, they don't win every tournament.
No.
The best golfers in the world probably win.
Wolfie doesn't win every single Players' Cup.
No. The best players in the world in golf, they, just because they win the Masters doesn't mean they won. You know what I mean? It's just, maybe they win 2 big tournaments a year out of the how many that they play. But if they get like a top 10 finish, they're still getting cash. They're still getting money. They're still winning.
Yep.
But in their minds, winning is first place. But like I said, they lose more than they win, technically, because they don't get first.
Yep.
So they win 2 big tournaments. That's great. They still technically lost the other however many that they play in a season. Same thing with disc golf. The top-rated disc golfer in the world, he loses more than he wins.
Yeah, maybe that's just the nature of the grind.
Maybe he wins 3 other tournaments that year, but still gets top 10 finishes in every other tournament. He technically only won 3 tournaments, but he's still an amazing player. He's still they're still great. They're still, you know what I mean? Do you get what I'm saying? So don't be upset with yourself when it comes to losing.
Yep.
That's kind of all I have to say.
Absolutely. I agree completely. Yeah. Like that's exactly how you should approach basically everything.
Yep.
You're never going to win every single time.
Yeah. Be prepared to lose. So the next thing is, and we've talked a lot about this as well, is be willing to learn. Laddering is a session. Laddering should be treated as like a session, an experience.
Yep. There's always something you can learn. You learn more from a defeat than you do a victory.
Yep. Like I said, like laddering is a session. This kind of goes back to like taking it seriously or not. When I was playing Pyra and Mithra and Smash, I was on the phone with this guy just casually chatting while I was playing on Elite Smash, I was playing on regular Smash, and then I hit Elite Smash while I was just chatting on the phone,
just chilling on Discord.
It wasn't even like I'm gonna get to Elite Smash today. It was I just made it a
so what
fun
you're
experience.
saying is Pyra and Mithra are super broken.
No. No, they're pretty broken. But I don't feel bad because
Mithra's not, Pyra is.
Yeah, they're my characters, so I don't feel bad. It's not my fault that all my characters are so good. You know what I mean? Like, it's not my fault.
Wow.
Wolf is amazing. It's not it's not my fault Pyro and Mithra are amazing. I was going to play them before they even came out.
Before they came out, yep.
When Crash Bandicoot comes out and he's broken.
Oh, I can't wait for Crash. Hashtag Crash for Smash.
Yep. It's not
Crash
my fault.
For Smash.
Yep. Drop the hashtag.
You should all go spread that. I want to make that like a global fucking trend.
Yeah. Another thing is the willingness to learn, reanalyzing your team. Like we said before, when you are looking at your team,
we definitely touched on
winning,
this. Like change the set, change the item, change the move, change the support that goes with it. Maybe that Whimsicott needed Sunny Day to deal with the Kyogre over the switcheroo eject button tech. Maybe that's worth it more to your team in the long run.
And then it's like, even if you're winning, say you're only using the same 5 Pokemon, that last Pokemon, like who's not picking up the KOs? Who's not making the field? Who are you almost never bringing? If that 6th slot, if there's a Pokemon that you just never bring, maybe swap them out.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, if they're not contributing, then if you're afraid to bring them into a certain matchup, even though you're winning,
figure out the puzzle piece that fits.
You could make your team even better if you experiment with a different spot. So, that's a big one. And then if your laddering section is unsuccessful, what did you learn?
Yep.
Be ready to learn. If you lost, why did you lose? Is it because the 6th member on your team never came out to the field and never contributed? Time to make a change. Is it because you have bad luck? Okay, you have bad luck. Did you make bad plays? What were the bad plays? Why did you make them?
Being retrospective about your own look, what could I have done better?
Yep.
That's always mostly, even if I win, that's the first thing I'm asking myself every game. Okay, turn 4, even if I win, turn 4, I didn't really need to set up Stealth Rock there. I could have actually yawned, and then I would have been able to set up Stealth Rock.
Yep.
You could, whatever. Do you know what I mean? I'm kind of just talking out of the air. But my point is, there's almost never a perfect game where I made the correct decision every single turn.
Yep.
It almost doesn't exist. So there's always things you can go back and learn to strive for that perfect game where I make every 7 turns of this VGC game and I make 14 correct decisions with doubles. Obviously.
Yeah.
I make every single decision correct. That's the goal.
Yeah.
Or that is a goal to eventually, reach at the top. That's like the perfect goal. So yeah, there's always room for improvement. Yep. Victory or defeat. Go back and look at your stuff.
Yep. Be willing to learn. The last point we want to make: use your resources. You got Pikalytics, you got Cerebi, you got Babiri.net. You have so many others that I can't even name that I've used because those give you a leg up on people who are not using those resources.
Yep. There's so many resources out there, like other YouTube channels that you can go watch people battle. If you're trying to, that's how we got better at VGC. We watched a lot of VGC content.
There's damage calculators. You
Yep.
know, do you want to know if Hydro Pump is a good move or a good option on Blastoise
Go
over
to Google,
Surf?
type in Pokemon damage calculator, click the link, type in the numbers,
Calculator,
and go.
yeah. Because if Scald KOs Landorus and Surf and Hydro Pump, just run Surf.
Just run the
calculator.
Yeah, exactly. If you don't need the Hydro, don't go for the Hydro if it can miss.
Yep.
Is what he's saying. Like calculating is one of the most useful tools to anybody. Whether, like I said, in Warhammer we have this meme called Math Hammer. It's the theory hammer. Before you get to the game, okay, this unit averages this damage against a 4-up save. So, but again, it's all dice rolls. You could spike, or you could low roll it. Mm-hmm. So it's the same thing in pokes.
Yep. And the very last thing is it helps you with your team building. Resources help you kind of, you look on Pikalytics and you see, okay, Regieleki is number 2.
More than anything,
number
it helps
1,
you team build.
Lapras is number 5. I'm just kind of like throwing things out there.
Yeah.
But those things help you.
And you can see, okay, I'm going to see a lot of this. I need to have this, or a check for that, like we talked about in Aegislash and UU. You have to have that on your team, whether it's a fire move or a ground move or a ghost, whatever. There are other things like that in every meta. Every tier, singles, doubles, there are checks and balances. There are high-tier threats that you're like, okay, when Cinderace is around, I have to have something that can check. Okay, I got to have something that can do this. I got to have something. There are a couple of those S-tier threats everywhere.
Yeah.
And looking at the Pikalytics and usage and stuff like that to see, okay, this many people are running, I think it's like 47% Incineroar.
They're like 60 now.
Oh, is it? Okay, yeah. You got to have either a water move or a ground,
you gotta have an answer. You gotta bring Pokemon. Some. Yeah, that kind of like, you kind of start there with, okay, what's out there and what's strong. Then you kind of work backwards.
And that's usually what I use one of my flex picks for.
Yeah. Yep.
I usually have 2 or 3 pokes that are like the core of the team. One that can fit in, another one that's sort of, and that last pick is like a flex pick of like maybe that's just a random Alolan Marowak. Even though you're not running a Trick Room team, you don't have anybody that can start Trick Room. He's just there for if you see an opponent. Like, my team loses to Trick Room. So I'm going to bring that 6 poke as a flex pick Marowak, because Marowak slaps if they bring the Trick Room. Well, this is just my answer.
It's like why we ran Cradily in Series 7, because Dragapult Colossal was so strong, and that was like a natural answer to that.
Supernatural. Yeah, I'm going to get boosted. I wall you.
Yeah, it was Dynamax. So, it all kind of works itself backwards when you use your resources. Like, so you check and see what's out there, what's prevalent, and then you're like, okay, Regieleki is out there. Then that helps you with your team building. That helps you with calculating and all of that stuff. So, I think that's kind of it.
Yeah, I think that's about everything I want to touch on. This is a little bit of a lengthy one, but a really good topic, and it's a really important one, especially we're going into another, coming up PC4, another tournament season. Yeah. It seems like it's just always tournament season, but especially with a little bit more of a divisive meta right now with being Series 8 with the Legendary inclusion. So keeping your mental state positive and happy and fun. That's what this game's supposed to be, is fun. Yeah.
So hopefully this was helpful to you guys. Hopefully you can hit the ladder or whatever competitive thing that you want to do with like a renewed sense of mentality.
Disc golf, league.
I've actually read books on mentality when it comes to competing and stuff like that, and they helped me a lot. Hopefully this can kind of help you in that same way.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think we're going to wrap it up. If you guys like the content, like, comment, subscribe. Hit the bell button so you don't miss out on uploads. We have a lot of uploads coming, like I said. What did you got it right this time?
I got it right.
Okay.
I had to check under the table. I'm like, all right, off the view. It's over here.
So we're still uploading every 2 to 3 days. Yep. You guys are going to see a lot of content. I'm working on stuff. It's going to come out scheduled.
Like you said, the thing that we're working on right now, besides VGC, we are still obviously. There's just a lot of VGC content because we're sort of new tadpoles to the meta.
Yeah.
But we are still working on singles, and we both have a big backlog of set guides, and our set guides are going to evolve every meta. So singles, Dynamax, doubles, all sorts of those. So you can take, like if we put out a Caesar guide, it's going to have a set that you can take in any meta.
Yeah, which I did. Link in the description.
Link it.
All right, dude. I think that's it, man.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was. Like we said, it was
a great show.
Hopefully you guys enjoyed it.
Let us know what you think about laddering or tilt or dealing with the mental struggle, I suppose, of dealing with the ladder and dealing with the grind.
Yeah,
let us know down below what tips or tricks you have.
Yeah, let us know if this video helped.
Yeah, absolutely. Please do. And share it with anybody that might. Share it with the Grumpy Gus in your game group.
Yeah, the Justin. All right, until next time.
I'm Justin.
I'm Zero.
Class is dismissed.
See you guys.